Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Thank you very much for joining me here today for this apartment speed build. We are renovating the 920 Medina Studios apartment in San Myshuno and we are going with an IKEA themed apartment. And I know this has been done already, however it's not something that I've personally done before, so I thought it would be kind of fun to see what my take on it would be. And I'm actually really happy with how this came out, and I went for the colour swatches we went for with this were sort of pale woods, blues, greens, creams and soft wood tones, and as I said, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And the items in particular from Snowy Escape, Tiny Living and Eco Lifestyle were so helpful with the renovation of this apartment. I can't even begin to explain. They all just work together so well, and I think a lot of the swatches of different items work really well together within the packs, and I think collectively they made this really nice apartment. So this ended up being 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So there's obviously a master bedroom and then there is a twin children's room as well, which we kept. I tried to keep everything quite minimalistic, but then I did find myself going back into my usual cluttering sort of style, which it's okay, you know. I not necessarily IKEA themed in that respect, but I think with the particularly with the core items and the colour schemes, I do think it is heavily inspired by IKEA. It's been a long time since I've been to IKEA, I must admit, especially with obviously everything that's going on in the world right now. I haven't actually been out shopping anywhere because I just think you're best off just being sort of safe in your own house. And so I actually work very near an IKEA, but it's been a long time since I've stepped foot in one. So I do remember when I first moved into my house that I'm in now, we did go and we got a bunch of stuff from there because I think it's such a nice shop and they do some absolutely stunning items. And although in The Sims 4 we don't have an IKEA pack per se, I would absolutely love for the Sims team to come out with an IKEA stuff pack, because I know we had one, I think it was in The Sims 2, and I remember that really well, and I remember the items being so stunning. And I think if they were to bring something like that out now, I think the styles would be very different, obviously because The Sims 2 came out a long time ago now and styles have changed, and so I think it'd be really interesting to see their take on it. I don't know if that's something that's even possible right now, with The Sims 4 being where it is currently. I know we've just had an announcement about a new stuff pack and we're going to find out some more information on the 12th of January, so that's kind of exciting. I think from what we know, it's some sort of ghost themed spirit sort of stuff pack. That's all we know right now, but hopefully on the 12th we'll know some more information. And obviously being primarily a builder, I would love to see some really cool build and buy items, so that would be kind of cool as well. And we're just moving on to the living space here, and actually I didn't know what to do with the space behind that sofa there, but we end up turning it into sort of like an office corner, which is kind of cool. And I was using reference images kind of when I was doing this apartment, and I've been into IKEA, you know, enough to know what kind of style and what kind of theme they usually have in there, and so I think it was really important to include the greens and the turquoises and particularly the wood swatches. And that bench there from the Snowy Escape stuff pack, which we used as a dining room table, I thought worked so well. And obviously the counters from Snowy Escape as well, which are at the moment my go-to counters, I think, especially with a build like this. They just work so well. So I'd have been missing a trick if I hadn't used them. So I think it ended up turning it it turned out really nicely. And I wanted to use initially a sofa from the Myshuno stuff pack, but I ended up using these sofas from the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack instead. But that chair in front of the bookcase, both the bookcase and the chair are from the Myshuno stuff pack, and that pack screams IKEA to me. That along with Tiny Living, I think the items from there are just so they're just so well suited to this sort of theme. And this is an apartment that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and again, I go back to, I have a list that I have of build ideas, and I go to that when I'm about to do a speed build, and I go through the list and I'm thinking, what do I want to build today? And it's been a few weeks since I've done an apartment, and I absolutely love doing apartments, and so I thought today was a really good opportunity for me to do that. And so this is what we came up with, and as I said, it is something that's been done before within the community, but it's not something that I've personally tried, so I'm really happy that I decided to try it. So I hope you guys, if you do download it, I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it, because this was a lot of fun to do. And this is the office corner that I was talking about just a moment ago, and it's kind of cute. It's the kind of thing that I would want if I lived in an apartment. I'd quite like, if I didn't have my own office room, then I would quite like to have an area that I could go to that's cozy and sort of closed off. So I use these curtains. I think they're from the Dine Out pack. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not entirely 100% sure about that. But they're curtains that I've actually never used before. And for some reason, while I was building this apartment, I thought that's a good idea, because I think the blue swatches in particular worked really well with the sort of colour schemes that we were going for. And then obviously I included them within the corner as well, but just changed the colour to cream so that they weren't as overpowering, and I think it works quite well. And now we're just moving on to the master bedroom, and for the very first time ever I have tried something new here. So normally my bedrooms are kind of neither here nor there, but with this one I decided to do something a little bit different, because obviously again we are inspired by IKEA, and so I thought let's do something kind of unusual. And so this is what we came up with. I think it's definitely better than most of my bedrooms, but I think there's still some work to do, just in terms of my building style and things like that. There are definitely things that I want to work on, especially with my bedrooms, but I think this is a step in the right direction, and I think the items that I used here are quite reflective of the IKEA theme that we have going on throughout the build. And again, using a lot of items from the Eco Lifestyle pack as well. And I think that clothes rail in the corner there, I think that's from the Myshuno pack, which is kind of awesome. I don't really use that enough, I don't think, because I think a lot of my builds are quite traditional and I don't think they work as well. I'd love to be one of these builders that does all these awesome things with wardrobes and windows, and I mean, some of the stuff that I see on YouTube and on Instagram, I just think I am so inferior to most of these people, and I love picking up little tips and tricks from people who are far more skilled than I am at building and decorating. And I didn't really know what to do on this back wall here, and so I just end up using, I think, kind of like a random collection of items really. And I do put a mirror on the right hand side there from the Eco Lifestyle pack, because I think that mirror, I think I use that mirror in pretty much every room in this apartment, including the bathroom, if I remember correctly. And that bit behind the bed there, I wasn't initially going to put the ivy up there, but my thought process was it's probably fake ivy, it's not real. Obviously in the game it's real, but in terms of whether it would be real in real life, I think it would be fake, and it would be sort of built into the wooden structure behind the bed. So I think, as I said, it's not a terrible bedroom, you know, give me an A for effort. I'm definitely on track with my willingness and sort of wanting to better my skills with my bedrooms. And this bedroom I kind of had to hold back, because I think I tend to overdo my kids' rooms, and so with this one it's a little bit more muted. I'm not saying it's boring, because it's not, and it's probably a bit too over furnished for an IKEA build, but I think in reality a kid's room isn't perfect, and there are elements of messiness and things like that, so I like to keep that within my kids' rooms as well. And yeah, I love adding little sort of toys on the floor and sort of bunching them together, and I think that it just looks really, really good, and so that's what we end up doing here. So I think the thing as well with apartments is that the walls are so tall. I think me, I don't know if anyone else finds this, but I feel the need to like fill the wall with items, because I think if you only fill it halfway it looks kind of silly. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks this. I don't go up all the way, but I like to have different sort of levels of decoration on the walls, if that makes sense. It's probably just me that thinks that, because I tend to overthink pretty much everything, so that's just one of those things that I do. And this is what I was talking about, so put a little bit of clutter on the floor just to make it look a little bit less perfect, and so I think that works quite well. And then I realised that I hadn't put a desk in for the kids to do their homework on. I'm so sorry, I had a frog in my throat. To do the homework on, and so we end up just switching the toy box and the desk around. And then I think I can't even remember what I put above here. I think it's just some like general knickknacks and things like that. Yeah, so that board there is actually from Discover University, but I think it works quite well in a kid's room as well, so we end up using that. And then I can't remember what I put on this bit here. I don't know whether I'll just leave it blank, because I realised that it's probably just best to leave it blank. Oh no, I don't. No, there's no blank wall space in this apartment, just as there's no blank wall space in any build that I do. And finally we are on to the main bathroom, using the toilet and the sink that came with Tiny Living, because I think they absolutely scream IKEA, and I just think it went really well. And then I put this cabinet in as well, which I thought was quite a cute idea. And now I'm realising I don't know if that shower is facing the wrong way. I don't know whether it's facing to the right instead of to the front, so you might have to rotate that, or it might be the right way around. Looking back, I'm not entirely sure. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna leave you guys here. But if you would like to download this apartment, it's available to download from the gallery under my origin ID, which is RachelPedd. Tray files are linked down in the description below, and screenshots are at the end of the build if you would like to see what it looks like in game. But thank you very much for joining me here today. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye!